on, wax off, wax on, wax off. I think we're started. I never know. Facebook's just kind of hanging on me. There we go. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. The wax on, the wax off worked. So good to see you guys for another weekly Q&A. Let's see if I can tag our man Matt, who just asked to be tagged. No, I have no idea how to do that. So here's the deal. It is a pretty exciting times. I know some of you guys are worried a little bit about a recession, but those of you guys who understand that you have marketing and sales skill set and the ability to generate customers for businesses, you will always be in demand. Just a quick little announcement before we get started on our Q&A. A lot of you guys have been asking me about my Zoom methodology. So like for those of you guys who don't know, we close clients in our agency without jumping on a call with them. And if you guys are interested in using our methodology, you can go to beyondagencyprofits.com/loom, L-O-O-M. Again, beyondagencyprofits.com/loom. And I put up all the training and stuff there for you guys in one place, so you can just grab that if you're interested in doing that. And it'll show you how we close without phone calls. Even if you are closing with phone calls, I would suggest you check it out, because if you understand the offer making thing and the demonstrations and the plan, it'll make the rest of your selling easier too, whether you do it in a phone call or not. So that's all I got for you guys on that. Let's get into the good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Frankie Finn proudly brings to you our weekly Q&A with me. Signy says, you're on deck first, says, hiya, has anyone used Thought Metric to track Facebook and Google ads? Do you know how accurate the data is? If you are not using them, then what else are you using for Facebook ad tracking? Signy. I'm going to tell you a two-part answer, okay? I'll tell you, my friends who run a lot of stuff, they use Market Hero, Alex Becker's product the most. But I believe attribution, the second thing I want to say is attribution is largely a myth. I know. So I'll tell you the easiest way we track which ads are generating sales is we have different offers and see which offers people respond to. But there's this idea that says that our ads operate in a vacuum, and very rarely is that true. It is a spectrum. It is a relationship. I'll tell you when I experienced this, the first 6 months of running ads in the lawyer space, mostly hit and miss with a lot of miss. And what I found is after a while, we eventually got our stuff dialed in and almost all of our ads worked. But also at the same time, like, people have been seeing our ads for 6 months. There's a tendency to think, like, when it comes to ads, like, say you go out on a first date with a girl and then you have a nice second date, and on the third date you wear a blue shirt and suddenly you guys jump into bed together and you have some hot, steamy sexual experience. There's a tendency to think, well, I wore a blue shirt, so clearly the blue shirt is the reason, but that it was affected by the first date and the second date and the relationship building aspect of that. This happens all the time where, say somebody sees an interview you do on YouTube and then they see your ad the next day. Like, it doesn't operate in a vacuum. This is why we're focusing in our agency doing more and more omnipresent stuff and like multi-channel stuff, because anybody who tells you it's all just one thing is, in my opinion, mostly full of shit. Having said that, easiest way I've found to track is not with a software tool, is just to have an offer. Like, I'll give you 6 of the, like, if I, like say we have 6 widgets for 99 cents and somebody claims the 6 widget offer, what sort of better attribution are you going to get? So I don't really care what Facebook does or any other platform with the tracking, because I can always track specific offers that we make, and that ultimately tells me what's working and what's not. But having said that, like, don't ever give up this idea that it's not a relationship, because it really, really is. PJ says, those of you running B2B ad campaigns to realtors, lawyers, and other professional services business, do you run them on weekends? PJ, I'm going to give you a two-part answer as well. It seems like today's the two-part answer. Part 1, yes, we run ads on weekends, although I'm doing a lot more like direct mail, in-person stuff right now. Although I will say this is the slowest I've ever grown an agency in my life. Secondly, though, okay, one of the things I see a lot of times people do in ads is major in the minors. Blue button versus red button, and that's a minor detail. Perry Marshall calls this forest, trees, leaves. And if you think about it, like, forest is like the big idea, and like trees are like the medium-sized ideas, and leaves are like the little tiny details. That to me is maybe like a tree or a leaf. And I'll tell you, most people test leaves and trees when they should be testing forest, big ideas, big ads, big offers, big changes and things, and instead they're testing like, I wonder if my ad will perform better if I use a green button instead of red one, or if I use the book now instead of the learn more. I'm not saying those things don't matter. Everything matters when you're doing advertisements, but man, test the big shit. And the big shit to me is not which day of the week you run ads on. Oh, by the way, our lawyer ads perform the best on a Sunday, but I'll tell you the best experience we have with those is just making really good offers, man. Don't major in the minors. Make really fucking good offers. Like, think more about your offers and your targeting and your audience, and less about like, you know, should I run it on Sunday? Like, I'll have people try and tell me the best time to post on social media is Tuesday at 3:30 in the morning or whatever. And the truth is that if you're going to major in all those minor details, you're going to get minor improvements in your ads. That's a good idea when you've had an offer that's crushing it and you can only make like little incremental improvements. But for most of you guys, man, just stick to the forest. I very rarely get past split testing the big stuff anyway, personally. Because usually by then your agency is swamped in work. Alex says, any agency owners here who have scaled their paid ads agency to $35,000 a month? Alex, I don't know if $35,000 a month counts as scaling in my world. I mean, we've had, personally and many people in our mastermind go far beyond that number. But I'll tell you what will help you get to $35,000 a month. You're basically going through stage 1 and stage 2 in that. So you got to pick a niche of people and really focus in on having one offer, one problem, one deliverable. Then you have to get really good at selling it, and then you have to get really good at delivering it, and then you have to get really good at hiring people to help you deliver it. That alone will take you to $35K a month. There's not really much more to say than that. But I'll tell you where people screw it up is the reason they can't get past, like, I don't know, in this case, the number you mentioned, 35,000, is because they're doing too many deliverables. One deliverable. One problem, one solution. Because what ends up happening is it works really well when you have like 5 clients, but if you try and scale like custom work, it just does not scale. So my advice is, one deliverable. Where we go. Michael says, hey everyone, I'm wondering how I can scale my agency faster. Do you use Facebook ads for your agency? And what's your process after this? Thank you very much in advance. Michael, certainly paid ads will bring scale to your agency faster. A lot of times I actually have people come to me a lot when they're burnt out by paid ads and they've tried everything with paid ads. I like to personally test my stuff organically, get it dialed in, and then when I turn on paid ads, I already know my offer is proven and is going to work. So I don't know, I just don't like wasting money as a general rule. Plus, I think you can test it faster organically than you can with paid ads. Like for example, if I want to know if an offer works on lawyers, I can go to a group of lawyers on LinkedIn, post something in front of them, and I can know in 5 minutes whether or not, if my hand raiser gets any activity or not. So having said that, I mean, scaling with paid ads is really like the same thing I just mentioned in the last thing, like for where sounds like you're trying to get. Niche down, one offer to one group of people and one deliverable. Secondly, is having, after you have that one deliverable dialed in, is like, run some ads or put some offers in front of people to get clients. And then when you have clients, get good at systematizing the delivery and then bring people in to manage it for you. That's really it. Like, it's not, I'm not saying it's easy, but it is simple at the same time. Simple is different than easy, because simple means there's not a lot of moving pieces to it. It's not like super complex, but easy means like it's easy to execute. It's not necessarily easy to execute, but it is very simple in understanding what you need to do. Matt says, is it possible to get 50 clients paying $2,000 a month within 6 months? Yes, Matt, I have done it more than once, so I can definitely tell you it can be done. I've only ever done it 2 ways, by the way, and I'll tell you the biggest snag you're going to hit on it. Way number 1 is to scale up paid ads and do that quickly, so I've done it that way. And you just get some shit working, and then you throw a lot of money at it through paid ads. Like, once you have a working paid ads funnel, it's just a matter spend more money on it. The other way, what I found is with relationships. Like, I call these shoe stores. So those of you guys who've been with me for a while, I use an analogy called the shoe buyer's analogy. And what I want you to think about, if you think about your agency services as like the equivalent of like selling shoes, and this is just a metaphor, of course, what most people do is when they're looking for clients, they look for people who need what they have. In other words, people who are barefoot, because it logically makes sense that if somebody has no shoes and you sell shoes, that those go together. And so they end up going after these businesses that are struggling, that would never pay for marketing in a million years. And what I focus is on are businesses that have like 200 pairs of shoes in their closet, so I want to see that they're buying websites and SEO and have, AdWords and, pay for sales and have TV and radio and billboards. Like, the more pairs of shoes they own, the better. And one of our big secrets that I found to scale really fast is to go after relationships with shoe store owners. In other words, the people who sell them. So I'll give you a real life example just to take this out of the abstract. Very, very simple. My first agency, the way I scaled it up was really, really simple, is I did SEO. And I went to a guy who sold a lot of websites mostly for plastic surgeons and like med spas. And what I did is we made a deal where I would give him a special rate and hook up his clients, and he would basically at first he would give me 1 or 2 clients to see how it went, and then he gave me a few more, and within 6 months I must have had 100 clients, probably less time than that actually. So if you go to sources of leads, you can scale your agency faster. But those are the only 2 ways I've done it. And I'll tell you, it's less a sales challenge than a delivery challenge, because when you're rapidly expanding, like when you go from like 0 to 100 clients in like 6 months, which I have done, it's just a lot of infrastructure. Like, I had 30 virtual assistants, I'm training people, and if you don't know how to do that part, you'll get stuck on all of that, not actually on the sales side of things. It sounds like a sales challenge when you're getting started, but after you pass about 10 clients, it'll be an infrastructure and like all of that kind of challenge. But it definitely can be done. Tomas says TikTok ads plus UGC is really hot right now. Looks like everyone jumps into it from Facebook ads. Works especially good for e-commerce. Is it worth starting? I feel like with the amount of people jumping into it, it will be oversaturated in 2 months or so, especially since a lot of gurus and coaches are starting to push it. Tomas, you are right in my opinion, because I posted this. As a general rule, marketers ruin everything. And so if you have a bunch of marketers saying like, this is the thing you should be doing, what will happen is you'll get thousands and thousands and thousands of people to get on it, but not right away. So I saw this. I have friends who crushed it in the early days of Google AdWords, and they used to be able to get clicks for 5 cents a piece on the most competitive stuff. And they would mostly just sell like $47 and $97 ebooks and stuff like that. And what happened is they could scale to the moon, because even if they only converted 1 out of 500 clicks, they would spend $25 and make a $47 sale. They were still doubling their money, even with horrible conversion rates. So they could spend more and more and more and more and more and do this. But eventually, other people started saying, get on this Google AdWords thing. And then it went to 10 cents. And then 20, and now like some of those clicks are like $25 for a single click, and you got to have a very airtight funnel, and you certainly can't only sell a $25 deliverable if you're going to make it in those businesses. I've seen the same thing happen with Facebook ads. One of my friends built the largest Facebook ad agency in Europe. When he first started, he just basically ran an ad, said, I will guarantee you double your money on Facebook ads, 2x ROAS. He was the first one to say that, and he had tons of people coming at him. But there's this thing, I call it the 1-year hero run, and it's basically like for a year, it's really hot, it's really easy, and it's really awesome, and all these marketers are getting rich. But after a year, the prices go up, there's a lot of marketers, and all of a sudden, what's easy was hard, and they're looking for the next shiny object. And so if you actually want to build an agency that's going to last longer than a 1-year hero run, if you're going to do TikTok, focus on the result you create for TikTok ads. And this is what I've talked about for a long time, is in every business there's something I call the nickel and the $100 bill. The nickel is the cheap kind of thing your clients sell, and the $100 bill is their most expensive thing. Every version has a different version of that. So like, I have coaching friends who have like $97 coaching courses and a $2,000 8-week program and a $40,000 mastermind. All things being equal, help them sell the damn $40,000 mastermind, not the $97 course, and you'll be amazed you can charge higher fees. So if you're going to use TikTok ads, use it to sell $40,000 masterminds and not to sell the $97 course. So you want to focus on a niche of people and the result you're going to create. But you are right, guaranteed. Give TikTok a year or 2. Most people's hero run will be over. All these agencies you see, like, I'll make $100,000 a month, will be broke in 12 to 24 months. I've seen it now too many times. It's like the most predictable wave in the world, and there'll be a new thing that comes after it, and it'll be hot, and everybody will chase that. As a real general rule, when marketers zig, you want to zag. And if you do that, you'll have some longevity in any business, because you don't want to just copy and paste. You can't copy and paste your way to like long-term success. You have to innovate at least a little bit. So even if you're going to get into TikTok, innovate a little bit. Like, figure out a better way to do it than everybody else, or figure out how to do it for a niche, or figure out how to sell the high-end thing. But you can't just copy and paste what everybody else is doing. Brian says, our man Brian, I haven't had a question for you in a while, my man. I might take my web design side hustle full time. I don't have a niche yet. I don't know if I'll determine one soon. I secured the domain BrianTheWebGuy.com. Is that too rinky dink? Should I think of something else? I don't ever plan to become a big agency. I also have my own name, BrianLandis.com. Brian, there's no shoulds or have tos in this agency space. Having said that, I have some thoughts just based on, what I think your goals are. And here's the thing, Brian, is if you sell web design as web design, you're going to be really lowly paid for it. So I saw this the other day, and this is why, picking a niche and choosing a group of people and generally aiming at a group of people who have some money is really, really important. Because I was looking on Fiverr the other day for somebody who could do Canva graphic design, and it looked like most of the prices range from about $5 to $100. And it just didn't make sense to pay more than that because there's so much competition, so many people willing to do it. So if you sell your hammer as a hammer, that's what you're going to get paid, $5 to $100. I saw another post from a marketer I follow, a very well-known one named Anik Singhal, and his question was, hey, can anybody make New York Times best-selling covers? And I thought about it, and I'm like, that's also graphic design, by the way. But because it's for a specific someone, in this case, a New York Times best-selling author or someone who aspires to be, I'd be surprised if he wasn't getting, or he or she wasn't getting $10,000 a book cover. So what we want to do is choose someone specifically for the who that has a high value and high need and a very specificity for that. Otherwise, you're going to be the $5 to $100 web designer. Now, I used to see this in the plastic surgery space, Brian, where plastic surgeons, there was a company that was the number one 800-pound gorilla in that space for a lot of years. They were called MedNet, and MedNet used to sell $40,000 websites, and it was just a lease, meaning you didn't even own your own website. And plastic surgeons happily paid $40,000 for this website, and they used to think, well, if I just get 2 clients, but it's because they're using the tool. So you guys have heard me mention this before if you listen to me. What you sell is just like a hammer. A hammer has so many different uses, right? One person is trying to remodel their deck or build a deck so they can have backyard barbecues. Another person wants to remodel their kitchen so they can have dinner parties. Another person wants to build a birdhouse with their daughter. Another person wants to murder their ex-wife. Hammers have a lot of uses, right? And if you sell the hammer as a hammer, then there's only so much you can say. It's like when you're selling web design, you can say it's a fancy WordPress hammer, right? It's not that exciting. But if you say I use this website to help you build mommy makeover patients for plastic surgeons, suddenly it gets more valuable if you pick a specific use of the hammer. So another way of saying this is your service is like a plane ride. Plane rides can bring people anywhere. You can hop on a plane and go any 2 places, really, especially if you're willing to pay the airport fees and fly private. There's nowhere you can't go. But you don't want to sell the plane ride. Nobody cares about the plane ride. Everybody is trying to get out of the office and the meetings and the bullshit and the politics and the traffic and the grind and all of that and get into the beach and the bikinis and the beer and the sunshine and all of that. And what ends up happening, if you sell the plane ride, you start saying, we have nice seats, low price fares, and all those things, instead of saying, we'll get you out of the office and bring you to the beach. That's what they really care about. So my advice to you would be choose a niche for that reason, because if you choose a specialized use of the hammer, you'll have a $10,000 hammer instead of a $5 to $100 hammer, and you'll get paid a lot better for it, and you'll enjoy delivering. And the other thing is, too, if you're designing New York Times best-selling covers, a lot of times you can reuse the shit from client to client, so it's actually an easier deliverable. Michael says, running client landing pages under your own agency subdomains, pros and cons. We do, Michael. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it, but what I value most is speed of implementation. And to me, if you have to ask the client, give me access to your stuff, and wait for them, it's slow as shit. So I like being able to just slap it up on my own domain and in 5 minutes have the privacy policy, all that ready to go, and not have to ask anybody's permission. So if you share those same values, I would say what you're suggesting is the only way to go, at least in my opinion. Josh says, what are you doing to encourage referrals? Josh, this is a way deeper question and very intelligent question, I might add. There's 3 ways I've seen people go to get referrals. Way number 1 is the hope and pray method, thinking, if I do a good job, I'm going to get some referrals. And in my experience, that pretty much happens. I shouldn't say 0, but it's rare. You're very rarely even going to get referrals just because you do a good job. Way number 2 of getting referrals is to what I call beg for them. and it's where you ask, but like you say, hey, if you know anybody, could you please refer them my way? And that, to me, at least feels like begging. Maybe it doesn't to you. And some people are good at it. Way number 3 is to create a value add. And I like to think about it like when you go to Costco and Costco's trying to sell a bunch of pizza, they don't say like, please buy some pizza. They make a little free sample and they cook it up and they give it to you and they say, try some. So one of the ways I found, and I've done this, like one of my friends, for example, built a really bitchin' Facebook ad agency, and what we did for him was really, really simple, is we just created a little gift certificate that he could give to his existing clients, say, if you ever have anybody else running Facebook ads in your niche, I'd be happy to just give them an account audit. I can usually save them $1,000 in like just trimming the fat on their account, and it's totally free. And if they want to use our services, I'll pay you a fee, but if they don't, they'll get value from the audit no matter what. And it's much easier for him to open a conversation, right? Giving the Costco free sample. So you want to think about, if you're trying to generate referrals, instead of doing the hope and pray or the beg for it, or you know, and I'm not saying those things don't work, but like, give them a free sample and actively encourage it. And you'd be amazed, you can build a whole business that's just, especially if it's viral, meaning like if every time you give away a free sample, you get 2 free samples given away, then your business will just grow on autopilot indefinitely. And I've seen quite a few businesses that were grown just from that one strategy to like Inc. 500, you know, fastest growing company kind of status. So you can do quite a bit of damage just with referrals. That's all the questions. For those of you guys who missed the beginning, just a little reminder, go to beyondagencyprofits.com/loom. On there, I have put, for a lot of you guys who've asked, all the trainings we've done about how we close and Loom videos. And actually, it's pretty amazing because this is a really wild thing for me, is seeing people who are picking up like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 deals who aren't even paid clients, like aren't even in the mastermind. Like, that's just so cool that they watch the training, they go apply it, and then they go close a deal and don't even get on the phone. That's pretty just fucking amazing to me. If you guys are interested in doing that, like the training alone, if you want help with the implementation side, that's when you should probably reach out. But I've designed the training because I wanted it to be something that would be useful to you guys forever, regardless of whether or not you wanted to work with me, because I like to just, like, I don't know, that's my abundant mentality, to give you guys cool stuff. So if that's you, check that out. Again, it's beyondagencyprofits.com/loom. It's just a training. There's nothing you got to sign up for. I just organized it all in one place. And you basically get some cool shit from that. So that's all I got for you guys this week. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe. And may the force be with you, my friends.